the Sfirat HaOmer, what we call counting of the Omer, and the portion of this week, which is Kedoshim. And then it's the question of actually, it's in a way a directive: be sacred or become sacred, because I am sacred. So one can say it's a question that occupied most of the I can say human evolution in relation to what cause, or in what way can we sanctify us, or in what ways something is being sanctified. So there is a promise in it, but as well there is a condition. It's in a way a contract that suggests that whether there is a group of conscious, awake spirit who wish to serve that which is the source of being able to give life in the journey, or in the endeavor to reach or to participate in that will of the Creator, they will become sacred, meaning that everything that will be bestowed upon them, they will be able to bestow it as life to others. So the question is, what are the means and ways that one can sanctify oneself? So it seems that the first presence that enable us to come closer would be Torah. So it must be a certain presence of the light, and a specific attitude or an angle of attitude from our part, an effort that will actually allow us, or will allow, one can say that our attitude might allow the light to sanctify our presence or our life. Or one can say it can sanctify our existence as long as we are part of this agreement or treaty or covenant, one can say. Okay. So one can ask oneself, what is called holy or sacred in that context? So two things are, or three things in this portion are being mentioned. The Zohar definitely mentioned the Torah itself as a calling. Zohar identify the Torah itself, because the Zohar teaches us in a way how to read the intention of Torah. So is part of what he's reading in Kedoshim, in sacred, or those who are sacred, is the call that there is in the Torah itself, in the light itself. It is to do with sanctifying time through Shabbat, meaning sanctifying the process of evolution, of spiritual evolution, as it is capsulated in human consciousness. The whole process together, the whole picture is called Shabbat. And this is why. This is sanctifying or sanctity in time. So sanctity in time is Shabbat. Sanctity in one can say in the relationship between the the createe and the creator as a space in between these two things. One is the calling is Torah, and the space that actually pave or prepare us for a true and meaningful presence of a relationship with the higher is our relationship with the other. One can call our friend in the our friend in the human race. So actually, our attitude or our relationship to love, as it is in this portion of Torah, which is love thy friend, it should be as yeah, um, as thyself. I'm Alvaya. I'm that which becomes this identity is actually reforming, or it's a cause of tikkun of means and way and purpose. Because most of what we know as the break in the fabric of the relationship between the creator and the createe is actually that human or the createe tries to reach himself, to know himself and to know the higher with different means than the purpose, meaning that we think or we cannot see that not we cannot use any means in order to justify the purpose. The means should be in harmony or in sameness, in nature and quality and intention as the purpose. Meaning you cannot achieve the love of something by hating everything else. So love, which is an precept, an ethic, how can you actually issue a directive on feeling? How can you say to someone, you have to love? So it's a question. It seems that this will be the difficulty in anything that we will try to make holy or to sanctify. Yeah. So how actually is to love thy friend as thyself is not the purpose in itself. It actually prepares us to be able to be one can say a feeling tool or a feeling vessel to be able to feel and to respond in sameness or in kindness to that which the Creator feels for us. So in a way, it's a training. It's not that it is, because a lot of people took it as a purpose, that the purpose is to love thy friend. Some can say your close friend, some will say your everyone. To love everyone is very easy, and it's never true. Of course, the test is to love those who are really close to you, and specifically those whom you work in order to achieve the love of one father. So a group is the sibling rivalry on the love of the father and the mother. So this is why it's so difficult to group. Okay, I'm unclear. Yeah, sibling rivalry. Yeah, can. No, yeah. So there, in that, this becomes a place in which you have to actually find a way or a very deep reason which is against any grain of the will to receive to oneself, which is against everything that we think that is spirituality or any attainment in spirituality, in order to actually be able uh, to reach this sentiment or the ability of the vessel to actually have this sentiment or the ability to love and, to love the creator. So I think, or it's there is a huge gap in ourselves. Of course, there is a huge gap, but what I'm trying to say that there's not much that the Zohar is saying about this portion. It seems like or everything that was said disappeared or is still concealed, or really they made a huge effort not to touch anything that could be wrongly used. Okay. So you would say that this is a sort of a main issue in all the book of Vayikra, which is one can say this is the place of revelation of Bina. The place of revelation of Bina, meaning the ability to actually call the higher to help us reach the creator. And is so minimal in its expression, apart from the beginning of. So I know that you have some question, but I just would like first to open, if we can, Kedoshim, Zohar Kedoshim, okay, to have a look at the beginning of how the Zohar is inviting us actually to look at this this portion. So okay, Kedoshim. You shall be holy. It's Zohar Kedoshim. It's the first verse. Yeah. And God, or Havaya, this is how it's written. And Havaya spoke to Moses, saying, "Speak to all the congregation of the children of Israel, and say to them, you shall be holy, for I, Havaya, your Elohim, your God, am holy." Again, this is how the portion is starting. Yeah. We can see how Kedoshim is being sort of translated, so you'll be able to see that it is very, it's very difficult to actually translate. Okay, so we are in Leviticus. Okay, אני חושבת שזה 19, Leviticus 19. Okay, Leviticus 19. And the Lord. Okay, so let's see that in the origin, we're speaking about Havaya. When this it's unchanging name, one can say, name that you cannot erase, unerasable or inerasable name. Okay. One of it is Havaya. We have it in, we can say that it pertains or it directs us to two presence. One is the presence of Bina, and other is the presence of Zeranpin, but Zeranpin as Tiferet, meaning as something that is to do with the prospect or with the future or with the purpose of human in Torah in relation to the Creator. This is Tiferet. So when this form of name appears, it means that this is the territory that we are in because of the name and the way the name of God is written. Okay, because we have in Hebrew at least 10 ways of writing the unerasable name, the name of the Creator. Okay, which means the name that we are meeting, this is the expression of its action. So in this portion, it starts with Havaya. Okay, so and Havaya, and the Havaya spoke unto Moses, saying, speak unto the congregation of the children of Israel, and say unto them, you shall be holy, for I, the Havaya, your Elohim, am holy. Okay, it means who is holy? We will be, we shall, you shall, each one of the spirit. But who is holy is not one name. Is the one can say the connection of two names, the connection of Ani Havaya, okay, Ani Ki Kadosh Ani Havaya Elohechem. Actually, we have three names in this, which is Ani, I am, is a name. You could see I am, and it's the name of divinity. Divinity is actually the only identity that can call itself I, because its life is being a place that life can dwell in. So this is actually the identity of Malchut, or the identity of divinity, is I am. One of the names of the Creator is I am that I am, which says that which can identify itself as having part or being an expression of myself is always in a state of becoming. So here we have, so the state of sanctity of the higher is in three states: in the state of I am, in a state of Havaya, and a state of Elohim. Ani Havaya Elohechem. Okay, this is what. So it seems that it has a lot of indication already. So it seems to indicate the third line. Now we might understand why Zohar is starting in the way it starts. So it says, I'm beginning from the beginning. And Havaya spoke to Moses, saying, speak to all the congregation of the children of Israel, and say to them, you shall be holy, for I, Havaya, your Elohim, am holy. Rabbi Elazar which already I was indicating to you that he's the one who gives the picture of of the future, of the things to come, the way things will be. So he's portraying the state of things to come. So Rabbi Elazar, the son of Rashbi, comments the discussion. Yeah. He's opening. How he's opening? Be not like a horse or the mule, which have no understanding. How many times did the Torah attest to people? How many times did you raise her voice in every direction to awaken them? But all lay sleeping, unaware of their sins. They do not look or pay attention to the time when they will be rise up to face the day of heavenly judgment. At this time, the heavenly King will exact from them the shame of the Torah that cries out against them. And yet, they did not even turn their face to her. All are found totally defective, since they do not know of the faith of the heavenly King, who to them and who to their souls. So what is the connection of actually becoming holy to the cry or to the call of Torah? So it seems if we are talking about three presences, which is, and we have to work in the middle line between what? Between the true identity of higher, which is part of our identity, which is the right side, and the left side, which is the law, or that which was already coming from potential, let's say, from potency to actuality, okay? Which is to do with everything that we have to be awakened to. Everything actually that we're still missing in order to become an adequate vessel, which is the left. And there will be the becoming part, which is Havaya, which is to do with Torah. So a spirit which is in the middle of those powers, first will be able to hear the call of the third line, which is Torah, to come and actually be or become the expression between the identity of the spirit and the need of reformation of the vessel to become adequate. Okay? So he's saying that in spite of all the calls of Torah, yeah, to humans, they did not answer. For the Torah attests to him and say, whoever is simple, let him turn in here. As for he that lacks understanding, she says to him, who is meant by he that lacks understanding? This means one who has no faith and is defective in every respect. He questioned why it is written, she says to him, when it should be read, I said to him. As the verse says, I will say to El, my rock. So why does it say here, she says? He answers, it wishes to include and to add the supernal Torah, which also called him, which also calls him. He reflects understanding, meaning defective in faith. So it seems that that, that holiness or sacredness, one can say, is to do with what can actually form in us and a constant journey into belief, or a constant vessel that is willing at any given moment to go above its understanding, because any understanding any understanding that is full of a sense that I understood is actually defective, because it is saying I try to encapsulate infinity in my vessel, and belief is actually the process that will allow us all the time to say, I wish that the higher will intervene in order to extend and to enlarge my perspective or my consciousness, to be able to actually include something that I know in myself that I'm inadequate in relation to it all the time. Okay? And all the time, I actually tie, one can say, the creator to the state of the human, or to myself, through needing, through needing its help. So this relates as well to the article in Shamati that you read. But becoming same with the creator as a life giver. This is the meaning of becoming sacred. So through what can you actually give life? Or a true source of life? That should be our question. So it seems that it has to do with Torah. It has to do with agreement for a particular service. So we have to define ourselves first. What is the identity of life? What can give life? And what kind of choice at any given moment one is standing in front of? Okay. So I'll open it for questions.